do?
I put fire on.
See, that's what I thought.
There, now fire's off.
Okay. You hit it. Okay everyone, welcome back. Today we are going on a hike towards Denali National Park. It's just a day hike, something to get us out of the house. Do you know exactly where we're going?
We're gonna be like on the edge of Denali Park, because you have to get to Denali, you have to go pretty far up to like get in the park, and that's like almost 3 hours. So we're just gonna like go along this side of it.
Well, that sounds like fun. Jacob planned it all, and we just threw a salad, some homemade tortillas. Today we're just gonna, once we get out there, we're gonna have lunch with you, and we're gonna discuss why we moved to Alaska, the pros and cons of living here, kind of talk with you while we have our lunch in a beautiful location. Where's my,
Do you have the water?
yeah. Okay.
There's him.
I'm just trying to make sure it's Okay, it's a little chilly out here. I think it's like 40 degrees, but it's like windy. So we're at the Nancy Lake Park, State Park, and we were gonna go hike near Denali, but then the bears started waking up. And we forgot to bring the bear sprays. We were a little nervous about it, so we just kind of enjoyed it for a little bit at Denali, and then we drove back this way towards Wasilla, and now we're eating lunch with a gorgeous view. We'll talk to you in a minute.
I should have put a beanie.
Okay, so we just finished eating lunch, and now we will talk to you why we actually moved to Alaska. So we were living in Southern California, Los Angeles, for a long time. I've been there for like 3 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
And me and Jacob met in Los Angeles. 3 years after meeting, we started talking about moving somewhere else.
Anywhere but California.
I lived on the East Coast before. I didn't really want to move back to the East Coast. Jacob just didn't want to be in California.
No, I was born in California, and I didn't want to live there anymore.
Once we got talking, Jacob said Alaska, which he's been to Alaska a few times before that. We just started imagining ourselves living in Alaska.
Because we like the outdoors. We're always doing something outdoors, even for our birthdays or a holiday. We're like, where can we go that has a forest? Any time of the year. We did during the winter, the summer, a lot during the spring. We went to pretty much every state park that was around us that was possible for a good driving distance. So we knew this is the kind of lifestyle we wanted, was to be adventurous, and always wanted to go hunting for bigger game, because we did go dove hunting every year and we enjoy it. I don't think we've gone fishing yet, but we want to. We don't even have fishing poles, but
Yeah.
So
Another reason why we left California was
money.
money. That's a better way of putting it.
It sucks you dry there.
Yeah. A lot of people think living in Alaska is expensive. And maybe it is depending on where you live. But for us coming from California,
It was
pretty much the same. I mean,
in goods.
Yeah.
In goods, it was the same. Housing's way cheaper, like 50% cheaper.
and this is all comparing to just Los Angeles where we were living at. We moved from Los Angeles to Wasilla, Alaska. Now, other parts of Alaska, like the villages or things that are much further away from Anchorage, it does get very expensive there.
Yeah.
Where we live, it's not as expensive. We were actually able to buy a house in Alaska, which was incredible because the cost of our house would basically be a down payment for a house in California. And there was no way that we were going to come up with that kind of money. And we just wanted our own land so we could start living off the land and just living more freely and cutting down on our bills.
Less rules, regulations.
Less regulations, that was another thing.
And we enjoy weather. We don't mind winter, even though it's cold and we get cold. It's still fun. I mean, we're out here in the snow eating lunch, so
Yeah.
we just enjoy it a lot more. And we did, Rick's family doesn't live in California. Well, one of his brothers do, but most of my family lives there, so kind of left them all behind. All of our friends are in California. We don't know anybody here.
Yeah, that was the tough part, actually. Just like leaving all the friends behind, starting off on your own, which can be very scary, but also very adventurous too. And it was just the next big step we needed to make, though.
It was a big step.
Yeah, it was very big. Since if you've seen our other videos of our road trip to Alaska from Los Angeles, it was very exciting, very intense drive once you got to the Yukon of Canada. But what's another reason why we moved here?
Population.
Population, that's right.
So many people in California. It was so unbearable. I mean,
to go 20 miles sometimes, it would take you an hour and a half to get somewhere. If you wanted to go bowling or go to, or do something that you wouldn't need reservations for normally, basically everywhere they're like, oh, we're already sold out for the night. You didn't make a reservation, somewhere along that line. And you just couldn't be spontaneous and go and do something in California anymore. So we just kind of wanted to get away from all the people. So now if we wanted to go bowling at our one bowling alley, we can.
Yeah.
And you can just walk right in and just get a lane. And it's just so nice not to have that many people around you either.
And we don't miss the malls. I don't really miss the beach.
No.
I mean, we have beaches here, and we'll see how fun they are in the summertime as far as going in the water. But besides that, I mean, California was pretty, but it made your brain just foggy.
Yeah.
I felt like a zombie living there. You just, day in and day out, you just feel so claustrophobic.
Yeah. And here, because we love, like, it sounds weird, but like water. And in California, the only thing you had was the ocean, the salt water. Here, there are so many lakes. We have just 2 lakes within, I wouldn't even say a mile. I'd say like half a mile radius of our house. We have 2 large lakes. We plan on buying kayaks so we can go kayaking all the time. And you said they stock the lakes with trout. So there's a lot for us to do, and we don't even have to drive. We could literally walk with kayaks to the lake and just throw them in the water with our fishing poles and just go out. We love camping. That's another thing that we're going to do during the summertime. We'll become much more prepared for bears and things like that when we go camping during the summertime.
Yeah. And we like animals, and there's just tons of animals here. The moose are just everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, moose walking through our backyards all the time.
It's just so cool. Like, we enjoy seeing that. The trees. We love trees, and there's a tree every square inch of this place. Like we said, we were able to buy our first home.
Yeah.
That we wanted to have free time. We you know.
But you could. Here. But the problem was with living in California, and if you were to get a house, you're living 10 feet from the next house.
And
even if we were able to buy the house for, you would say minimum $600,000 at this point after COVID or during COVID, it's a crappy house. Most likely that you live right next door. You maybe have 0.25 acres of land. Maybe. And we just wanted the space. It just was not going to be rewarding, even if we were able to buy a house in California. So that was another reason why we moved up here.
We could have went to Oregon, we could have went to Montana, but I'm like, if we're going to do that, we might as well just go to the best state that what we want can provide, which I feel like is here.
Because we were thinking of Montana, but even like we were looking at houses there and everything like that. And for me, for work,
yeah, you had to be next to an airport.
I have to be next to an airport.
You were still in a city. We still had to be in a city.
Yeah.
Like
well,
now we drive an hour out of the city, and we're in the middle of nowhere. But we're fine with that. I mean, it worked out, actually, our location.
We don't mind that if it gives us the quality of life that we were looking for. Now, is there any cons of living in Alaska for you?
Probably just not knowing anybody, I feel like. But
we don't know anyone. I mean, we've been working on our house or doing other activities or exploring because it's the first things we want to do when we first got here. But now we're just kind of like, okay, we need to kind of go out, meet people, you know, in our community. And I think that'll be a lot easier as summer comes along.
Yeah.
Because it is spring right now, as you can tell, with all the snow out there.
Another con is...
I would say, like, having, like, we want to go to the... It's not a huge con, because it's not that far. But we definitely have to drive much further to a grocery store than we were used to.
Like, we have a Target 25 minutes away. There's a Starbucks 25 minutes away.
We have a lot actually in Wasilla because we've been told since we've moved here, like Wasilla's been booming for like the last 7 years. And I guess we bought it at a right time as well because they said it just keeps growing and growing and growing, which is great and all. But sooner or later, if it gets too big, I think we're going to want to move further out of the city.
Further out in some direction.
Because we never want to live like in a suburb or in like a built up area immediately around us. And that's not why we moved here.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just beats the purpose. We just wanted privacy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Our big thing was privacy.
And
we just didn't want somebody right next to us. I mean, we have a house next to us, and he's up on top of the hill, so I mean, we can't see him from out our windows, but if he looked out of one of his windows, he can look down.
And he'll see our house, but he really
Can't see inside.
But because our garage is facing him,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of nice because when we look out our windows, all we see is trees and a hillside. So it's not that bad either, even though we have two houses, but they're both positioned in a way that we don't really see them at all. So we were content with that. Is there another con that you can think of? I would say availability of products.
A bit, yeah.
That is a huge thing here that we're starting to find out big, especially when furniture shopping.
Furniture shopping, yeah.
All they keep telling us is we're waiting for a shipment. We don't know when we're getting it.
Like he wanted to start building a gym, and you have to wait for them, and
They're saying maybe 4 to 6 months, but we really don't know like when the next shipment will be starting coming our way.
yeah. But like grocery stores are full.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
haven't seen any products missing in there or
No.
anything like that. I think another con is that the gas prices have gone up since we came and visited.
Like
the
right
house.
as we showed up,
It like it went up $1.
the prices skyrocketed. So
And we're like, oh shoot, because we're like, oh, we're gonna get so much cheaper gas. It's still cheaper, but we expected it to be a lot cheaper. But that's okay because it's still cheaper than what we were paying.
And these cons they're not huge cons. I mean, the availability of stuff, yeah, I mean, that does suck in a certain degree. But it also has kind of like challenged us. Like, because the things that they were out of was like furniture items and stuff like that. Home Depot is like, they get behind on like certain products.
Like we couldn't find a snowblower when we first got here.
But it's actually challenged us we're actually starting to look into building our own kitchen table now. Like to actually, you know, make stuff for ourselves, which is very rewarding to me. So it's not a bad con. And a lot of these cons that we're talking about aren't really
It's just
a huge deal. It's just dislikes that we noticed that we wouldn't have expected. Another huge thing that happened is when we very first moved into our house, because we had a mailing address, we thought we would get mail. Well, our house address wasn't validated with the United States Postal Service. We go to validate it with the U.S. Postal Service, and then they're like, okay, do you want a P.O. box? Because we don't deliver mail here. And we're like, what? How do you don't deliver mail? And they're like, there is a company that you sign like this waiver where they can come pick your mail up from the post office and then deliver it to you, which is what we opted to do because it's like $20 more than a P.O. box.
Yeah, that's definitely a con is that we have to pay for mail service.
Yeah.
But it makes up for not having taxes, so.
Yeah. This is just why we moved to Alaska, though, is all the pros of this video, plus more that we probably can't think of right now.
Yeah.
But it's really the outdoor life that we want. And we cannot wait for summer to get here so we're able to really just explore around Alaska even more. Another big thing that I've always wanted to do is ride on the Alaskan Railroad.
Yeah.
We'll do a video on that later for you.
The people are nice.
Oh my God, everyone here is very nice.
Everyone's so nice.
It's so nice just to walk into a store. Workers actually come up to you and be like, hey, can I help you? Yeah, do you need something? What can I do for you? They don't just like totally ignore you and walk
Actually,
on.
it gets annoying. I'm like, no, I don't need anything. You're the 5th person to ask me in the store.
It's true.
But haven't met any judgmental people for us being gay.
Yeah, no.
Never even.
I just feel like Alaska is a very, it's kind of.
They just don't care.
Yeah. Where they're just kind of like, you live your own life as long as you don't impede on my life, I won't impede on your life sort of concept, which is great.
Yeah.
And that's another reason kind of why we moved here as well. Oh, well, that's about it for now. We're going to go back home and warm up and get some stuff done around the house.
Yep.